Hey everyone, welcome to the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. Of course, I am your host, Edwin Mayah. This is another Thursday here in our conversation land. Today's conversation is going to be super amazing. I want to say welcome to the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. If you aren't following us, we ask you to go to Facebook, the conversation Outspoken Opinionated, on Instagram, Outspoken Opinionated Podcast, and of course on the live podcast network is the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. And if you go anywhere you find your podcast, is the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. So welcome to the conversation Outspoken Opinionated. I am your host, Edwin J. Mayah, and today we're kicking off our June conversation. From June 1st to the end of June is we're celebrating Pride. So get into it. We are going to be having our Pride conversation tonight, which the topic is Pride in Progress, LGBTQI's Journey of Resilience. This episode is all about celebrating the courage to live authentically and love bodily. We will hear from powerful personalities to give us the stories, to talk about their resilience, to give us all the information that we need. We can say probably to go through the month. But I know you guys have been, June started and everybody out there in the streets. I'm telling you to calm down. But without further ado, I would like to invite my guests in. So Telly B and Tamara Rivera, you can come into the broadcast. How are you guys doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good,
I
good, good,
am good,
good.
fabulous.
Great. So normally what I like to do is to ask my guests to introduce themselves. So let the people know who you are, because sometimes I go overboard. So I want you to tell the people who you are, what you do. So we'll start with Telly and then we'll go to Tamara.
Hey, everybody. I'm Telly. I'm in healthcare as a 9 to 5, but on the side, I am a publisher and author. I have sold in 12 countries and almost like 6,000 units sold. And I love to write, of course, publishing and everything. And I'm originally from New York, but I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia.
And Tamara?
My name is Tamara Rivera. I am a transgender woman. Recently fully transitioned. Over the past 3 years, I have poured my heart out writing 3 powerful books based on my memoir, and with starting with Tamara's Journeys, Trials, and Tears, Whispers of Broken Trust, and Becoming Tamara. I am an advocate. I am a public speaker. I've been in the delivering speeches in the Atlanta Capitol to some local transgender and LGBTQ groups, and I am a advocate online and offline. I'm doing everything I can to help others, empower others, and be the voice for those who can't speak for themselves or don't know how to be able to uplift them.
Thank you so much. And so just for no icebreaker, I will ask both of you guys, when you think about a word that describe your personal journey, whatever your personal journey has been, what is that word that you will connect to your personal journey? And Tamara, you can go.
Okay. My journey was very difficult. I grew up as I was an abused child, going through um, the abusive expectations of a father that just couldn't understand that this boy that was growing up had these feelings that I couldn't understand, and he was not the type of person, the open-minded person. I knew I was different at a young age, but I did not have the words, the safety, or the support to express that I was different. So I buried it within me. And for decades, I lived a life that was not truly mine. And it was not until years ago, 4 years ago, in 2021, at the age of 59, that I came out, and I came out with the power and purpose. And using my journal to start writing my story into my first book, Tamara's Journeys Through Trials and Tears. That helped me heal and quietly rebuild myself, and that was the moment that I chose to be me, not the version the world expected or tolerated, but the woman I had always been inside. And that powerful act of claiming my identity became the foundation for my second book, Becoming Tamara. And it's just, oh, well, that's my third book, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's been just a journey that I decided to take on with power and purpose, and that's where it was what's made me.
So, Telly, I will ask you with just working with people and being out there, making sure that our voices are being heard and being bringing inclusivity. I always can't pronounce that word. What have you realized have been some of the, or what I would say, what have you seen is what, how can I put it? What word can you connect to individuals that you have worked with who aren't been able to have their own voice?
Um, it's kind of like a construction site. It's just all over the place. It's rough. Things are blowing up. Um, and some people they don't have a voice for themselves because of, like you said, social expectations, family expectations, what people consider the norm. Um, so they're afraid of not disappointing their families, and in some cases even being disowned. Um, and it's not just like younger people. It's actually older people. Like, say for instance, you come out at a later stage in life, and then your mother disowns you, but you still feel like that little child who doesn't have anyone to speak for them. So, I definitely stand up for people like that. I actually have someone very close to me who's in that current situation, and I just became a part of his village to pour love, to listen, and to understand, and continue to um, make him know that he is seen and loved, and that he's safe.
Thank you. Tamara, I want to ask you, was there a moment when you finally felt free or safe in your identity?
That didn't come to me in my life until a later age. My life, like I said, I came out late, for about 4 years ago, at the age of 59. That's when I decided that I needed to do something, because I was tired of living in the bouncing from one gender to another and going through a lot of changes that were also affecting me personally. And I came out, and that helped me not only build myself up, but have a voice that I felt was hidden for a really long time. And I'm using my voice and my platform to uh, uplift others. At a young age, when I was in my youth, I didn't even understand what the word pride was. I never even heard what that was. And I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and growing back then it was not things that you hear about until I came here and I started learning. I learned a lot more when I bought myself my first computer, and that's when I really delved into and started studying and reading on what all this means, all the terms, and what pride is, and at that time was when I realized that there was more to me than what pride encompasses. It's something that it's something that you earn. It is something to which you are entitled to. It is not rooted in perfection, but it in perseverance with pride and joy, celebration, and act of resistance and resilience, where our scars are respected and embraced.
Thank you. And so, Telly, there are a lot of people out here who consider themselves to be allies, they stand up and all that stuff. But what does real allyship look like?
So to me, real allyship looks like supporting not just individuals, but supporting the business of those individuals, writing letters if you have to, going to conferences or meetings in support, um, praying for them, and just doing whatever we can to let them know that we have their back.
Thank you. I will ask you, Tamara, how has your racial, cultural, gender, or socio-economic identity intersected with your LGBTQI experience?
I apologize, can you repeat it?
How has your racial, cultural, gender, or socio-economic identity intersect with your LGBTQI experience?
That was very difficult, because coming from a strict religious family background, it was not only very difficult to come out, but it was like a storm breaking out. I was totally disowned by my own family. So culturally, that affected me really big. But I didn't let that stop me. I actually, at this point in my life, I have more friends and a newfound family that I didn't have. And so, the when culture and family and religious expectations don't align, you got to find that meaning, that connection with other people, and that's where I really found my strength.
Mm, thank you. Telly, what do you think faith, community expectation, or cultural, how do you think faith, community expectations, or cultural norms shape their acceptance of advocacy?
Well, I will say this: there are some religions for people of faith that will absolutely not support because they're so traditional. But then you do have organizations like, as far as faith is concerned, um, progressive, where they include everyone. You can come and be safe. So it just kind of depends where a certain individual is religious wise, first and foremost, because that's always a big thing when it
Yeah.
comes to the Bible and LGBTQI. So I would say the more progressive they are with their religion, it's going to mold their social norms and make them a little bit more accepting to definitely be allies. but people who are so stuck on tradition and their faith traditionally, it would be very, very difficult for them to, those type of people to accept a family member who comes out or to even be an ally for the community itself.
Tamara, a lot of times, people talk about safe spaces. And I think it's when people use the words safe space, I've come to realize I think it's overrated because what we all have different definition of what safe spaces are. So I want to ask you, what does a safe space mean to you personally, Tamara?
A safe space is not only a space where people of that believe in your journey, people that share the same identity, people that are more open to our identities, are welcome us. Safe space. It could be something as like a church where you belong, that accepts who you are, or a community that embraces you. There's it's such a broad uh, uh, definition to safety, and sometimes it's very difficult to really find a safe space. But as long as we are in communities that welcome us, and you are in a safe place, if you are in a home where you are accepted, and people are more open and honest, and you are in a safe space. The minute that you don't have like a welcoming home or a community that embraces you, then you're no longer in that safe space. So that's very difficult sometimes to find.
And I think I've heard someone say that the moment that you have to defend yourself in a space, it's no more safe. So
Yes.
that could be in your home, that could be at work, that could be any space that you're in. Like walking in the street, everybody else can walk in the street, but when you walk in the street, you always have to think, is someone going to attack me? This person is walking directly towards me. Why are they looking at me like that? That means that you're not in a safe space. And so I have taken that and really allow it to resonate with me to understand that we all have different spaces that might be considered safe and might not be safe. And
Yes.
so we might be in a room where everybody else have different perception of how safe they are in that space. Because you might be safe in that space and I might not be safe in that space. You know what I mean? So it's just, but we might be in the same space.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that's why I feel like when people use those words, I'm like, it's just overrated because I have to determine if this space is safe for me. It's not you, it's me. I would determine that.
I was
And
I was fortunate, if I may add, that I was very fortunate because when I came out, that was during the height of COVID.
mhm,
So I was already working from home, so that gave me a safe space to be in. But
mhm,
even if that had not taken place, I felt safe where I was working at, because I work for a company that's very welcoming, and they have a lot of LGBTQ, well, gays, lesbians, and whatever that work there, and they have also, which right now I am an ambassador to the LGBT movement with this company I work with, and that's the biggest definition of a safe space.
mhm. And so as we talk about safe space, I will throw this toward Telly. So how can schools, workplaces, and places of worship be more inclusive?
That's a tough one. Well, think they could all do better just being kind. Um, However, each entity is held to a different standard where for the first ones is like not so much, but when you get to the church is supposed to be accepting. The people there are supposed to welcome you, and you're to be loved on, and you should be able to feel free to be your true, authentic self so that you can worship as your true, authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Schools, if you're thinking still about the separation of church and state, not very much. However, definitely protect children against being bullied in school and harassed on social media and things alike. And you said in the neighborhood, right? In their home?
Yeah, in the community, workplace,
In,
school, and
yeah. In the community, you could survive in the community by finding people that aren't not just like you, but also people that are accepting. Because there's some people in every neighborhood that are just so loving and they just accept everyone for who they are and they advocate. So in a community, a person will do very well being accepted.
Yeah. And so as we have this conversation, we talk about, different, we talking about, Tamara giving us experience. We all have different experiences. Um, Telly, do you know of any programs within the community that you think you will be proud of to say, this program was created and it have helped some people that I know? But
I could see like something of a community center
mm-hmm.
in a neighborhood where it offers sports programs for anyone, all inclusive, and they have counselors and teachers that understand because they're part of the family themselves, or they have family members who they accept wholeheartedly are part of that family. So they can be there to counsel people if needed, and yeah.
Okay, so June is Pride. It's Pride Month. People are out. They're living their best life. I'm wearing my Pride shirt. Everybody's just super excited. They're living their best life. But I have seen this commercialization of Pride. What I feel is like it's so commercialized. Even the individuals who aren't allies make money from Pride. And I have a serious problem with that. So I want to ask both of you guys, what are your thoughts on the commercialization of Pride? And anybody can tackle it.
I believe that when I came out, I believe that if I can be as safe as possible as long as I don't like broadcast myself too much. And that is like going to public places, whether it's to a restroom or wherever. You have to be aware that you are not where you genetically belong, but as long as you're not like I don't dress like a lot of people out there, dress with pride, announcing themselves too loud, because I feel like I'm going to make myself a target. I don't go out there and tell people, "Oh, I'm trans. Hey, I'm trans. I'm trans." I don't do, not because I'm not proud of who I am, because I want to feel like I'm safe. If I'm constantly, announcing who I am everywhere I go, then that kind of like creates a target, and So our safety is in our hands, and the more people are out there being loud and proud, which is not a problem, but the more you do that, the more you're going to make a target of yourself. So I try to stay away from and I have a lot of friends in the transgender and whatever, but a lot of them I see them participating in protest and in these marches that I've seen some things that I don't agree with in some of these marches, and then people start getting loud, and I don't like the commercial commercial aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
because the more you announce yourself, because just like a cis man or woman goes out there and that they're not constantly saying, hey, I'm a man, hey, I'm a woman, because it's obvious. So why would you want to go out there and constantly tell people, hey, I'm a transgender, because someone out there, you're going to rub someone the wrong way, and then they're going to possibly even harm you. So to me, it's all about, finding a safe place, keeping it low key, and just being yourself. You walk in a restroom, go there, do your business, get out, and nobody. But so far, in since I came out, and nobody has bothered me because I go in there just to do my business. And I think that's why all the pushback today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Telly, you want to add to that?
So I don't like the commercialization part of it because not only do LGBTQ accepting operations serve lunch, different restaurants. Um, Even at the festivals, you see all these people there with their booths selling their food, selling their lemonade, and things like that. And they could really have a hatred for the community, but they're going there and taking their dollars. Whereas, you know, companies that are accepting and they have inclusivity, they should be making that money if anything, not the ones that truly don't accept it. So if you don't accept it, don't take our money.
Mhm. I like when I was going to piggyback what Tamara said, because I think also it's a generational thing. I think older generations are not, being that the struggle that they had to go through to pave the way for the younger people now to be able to protest and walk in the street and live your best life and all that good stuff. I think so. That's why I feel it's like, the younger people that are out there, they live in it. Like last weekend, I'm in DC, the DMV area. So last weekend was Black Pride, and everybody was just living their best lives. And you could see it was a younger generation, people like that who were just out there doing their thing. And so I feel as if we I'm grateful to the older generation that paved the way, that are still sacrificing their spaces and their time so that the younger people can be able to experience the life that they probably won't probably never experience, but they're giving them the opportunity to experience. And so for me, that's why I don't like that commercialization, because I feel it's like, okay, you guys are targeting the young people, you are bringing out them, but those are the same people that on a regular day you will not let them to come flamboyantly in your bar.
Mm.
You will have a problem with that. We have had issues with one bar here in DC that literally dragged this person down the stairs because of where it's supposed to be a gay bar, but they batch out gay guys and they do all these things. But when it comes to pride, I mean, they're out there, they're supporting, they're giving out free liquor, to bring people in to their business and stuff like that. And so for me, that's why I get offended a little bit, because I'm like, on a regular day, you don't want these people in your space. You don't want these people in your establishments. You are coming out here, you are doing all these things to bring them in and buy your business. But then when they come on a regular day, you're not going to accept it inside. So what's the point?
Right.
Mm.
So that has been my little experience with all that thing that go on. So I know, but hey, what you will do, it's an opportunity for people to celebrate who they are. And so once in that moment that you can celebrate yourself, you embrace it and you do it. And so sometimes you just be like, you know what, it is what it is.
And this goes a long way in helping keep you safe when you travel. Because I travel not too much, but I've traveled a lot of places, and keeping a low key is one of them. I heard a story about a gay. This was something I heard of from a friend of mine, that she was in Dubai, and they were with a tour group.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of those countries, especially in the Middle East, they don't take kindly to gays, lesbians, or whatever. They exist within their countries, but they keep it low key. But when you go out there and you're trying to be loud and proud, as they call it here, then you're going to set yourself up for either embarrassments or some really bad experiences. So he was out there and really being out loud and proud, and they told me, you need to either tone it down or we're going to lock you up in your room until you're ready to leave.
And I don't think that's only for LGBTQI. I think that's for everybody. I think as Americans, when we go in other countries, we need to be mindful of the culture. We need to be mindful of certain things. We want to take pictures in the museums. We want to do the some places you can't take pictures of the gods. You can't take pictures of the sanctuaries. So we experienced that when I went to Thailand. We had to talk to some people. They don't loan cameras in here. Don't, and they're like, "Well, I'm on vacation." You don't live here. They have rules. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with who you are or your identity or anything. These people have rules. They have certain things in our country. You have to respect it and just move on.
Yeah.
So, I've over the years, the LGBTQI rights has become visible. There are a lot of rights that have been passed. Now there is some being pulled back and stuff like that. And so for you who are, we are all out here trying to make sure that we are, there is equity. Everybody have equal rights. What progress have you seen when it comes to the rights and the visibility of the LGBTQI rules and regulations, or we say policies?
If I may, I believe that there have been a lot of progress made,
Mm-hmm.
and there has been a lot of progress taken back. But what I see going for Pride, or my goal, as I would say, is for Pride to be not only a truly inclusive space, but one where transgender individuals and people of color are not just welcome but centered, where queer people from youth, elders, and every marginalized voice are not merely present but recognized as a vital to the heart of the movement. I want us to be more beyond visibility, because visibility, or rather, I'm sorry, I want us to move beyond visibility, because visibility without protection is not enough. We need lasting policy changes, safe affirming spaces, and a cultural shift to uphold our lives, and not only during Pride Month but every day. Yes, we need to be visible, but within means, and you will need more of these movement to change the perception.
Telly?
Um, Way to make it to get more visibility.
Yeah. Well, what
It's
progress
like
have you seen?
so. I actually see a lot of progress. Although some of those privileges or, the laws have been rolled back, there's still a lot of progress. We're still able to marry whoever we want to marry legally. Um, there are a lot more LGBTQI friendly cities than they're not. Um, but as for like what she said, like visibly wearing your t-shirts and things like that, um, I don't normally do stuff like that on a regular basis, but during Pride, yes. But I still feel safe, even with my
Yeah.
gear on, and I have still gotten hellos and smiles from people just walking down the street. So I can't relate to, anything else because I have not yet experienced anything that would make me feel unsafe to represent myself in public. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, there's visibility for our community is is gonna shine, and there are a lot of more places than not in the United States, especially, that are accepting and friendly to the community.
Yeah, and I think like, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tamara. Go ahead.
I was just going to add that even in today's political landscape with all the pushback, I think people are coming to the realization that this is not going to hold us back. It's just going to make us stronger.
Mhm.
And the stronger we are, the more uh, uh, acceptance we have. Is not for being loud and out, yeah, but by you know showing people that despite all this, no one is going to silence the movement.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And I like that you say that because I think what people also need to understand is that the community is going nowhere.
Right.
Like everybody's here. We all here.
To
Like, you know
stay.
what I'm saying? Like we here to stay. So you either going to accept it and you move on. And like I tell everybody, I told somebody the other day, I say I know who I am. And am also aware that there are consequences that come with who I am. So I'm not going to be pushing anything in your face, but you're going to respect me as a person.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're going to respect me as a human being. You're going to respect me as a person. I don't need you to love me. I don't need you to give me the hug when you don't need to do none of that stuff. But you will still respect me as a person. And that's it. We're good on that. And so I think like once society can, a lot of people can get into that space and realize that, okay, we in a community, we are still human beings. We're not affecting you. We literally don't do nothing to you. We're not affecting you in
Hmm.
any way or the other. And so I think
Hmm.
once people can get to that space and understand that, then I think the visibility for me, in my opinion, it's welcome. Because if I still have to celebrate and think, okay, see this little neighborhood, I see some people over there, I don't like the way they're looking at me. Do I need to get out of here? If I still have to have that little thing in the back of my mind, even though I know the consequences, I'm out. Like that's just me personally. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm not even waiting to even think what might happen. But as we wind it down and we just go into some other stuff, what do you both hope for future generations to experience that you didn't?
I hope for future generations that, first of all, I see that all this pushback that we're getting nowadays, this is not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to be here. We've been here for centuries, because a lot of people think that, oh, this is something new. No, it's not new. It's just evolving. And and just as it's evolving, it's going to continue evolving, it's going to get stronger and better. People are going to be more and just like people now are being more accepting that, hey, this is not going anywhere. So I see a day where the transgender people or gays, lesbian, or whatever are going to be more accepted. We got cities out there or countries out there where everybody lives in the same space a little bit, getting along with each other, being celebrated for who they are. That's what we need to do to continue celebrating adversity, embracing each other. I see possibly a future where you have more open and welcoming spaces. There's people that are never going to change. Yeah, like some people. I come from a very strict Christian background, and those people, you are never going to change their their point of view because they're too ingrained into that, and so they're close. But um, that we are. I do see a future where everything is going to be more open, more honest, and people are going to be able to live, a full life without having to be prosecuted for who they are. And I think that will happen, if not anytime soon, but it will eventually happen.
Mhm.
I follow technology a lot in science fiction, and I see a world where the Star Trek, for example, that world where will one day be here, and we're not very far from there, but not we're not close to it yet.
Mhm. Telly, what's your hope for the future generation to experience that you probably didn't?
I do believe at this point our community really has all the privileges they need. We're fighting for them not to be, taken away because we can get married, we can adopt children, we can have them as domestic partners, so we put them on our health benefits for our jobs. Um, and so far, even correct me if I'm wrong, I know that they're fighting very hard to discontinue services for trans
Mhm.
people when they're kids or when they're young and everything. So my hope is that all the rights that we have are still available when they come along, because in a sense we've already did everything, and like this generation here, we're experiencing the freedoms of, in real time. So I don't think it's really anything. I just hope that it continues so that generations to come can benefit from it.
Awesome. And so, as we wind down, there are so many myths out there about the LGBTQI community. Everybody have this little thing that they will say about this and that. And so, one myth that you would like to bust out being part of the LGBTQI community is, and you can tell us that myth.
Great.
Tell you one myth.
If, if I
Well,
may,
I will go first.
and give
Okay,
you
let me
time
go
to think.
first.
Go
Okay, so
first,
I will
yes.
go. Let me go first. I just
Okay.
want to let the people know,
Well,
not because someone is gay, it means they're gonna like every man. We got types. Okay, calm down. You know that thing where people don't want to calm down. They just feel like once you walk into a space, everybody, no. That's not how it works. Just how you have your type and you have the people that you are attracted to, that's just how everybody in this community have the person that they're attracted to as well. That's my myth I want to break.
I've heard some strange things that really go on from like my brothers, my friends in the community, and listening to them, I'm not sure there are any myths.
Okay, okay. I see Telly taking it. She's taking the political side. I accept that. No problem. Okay, Tamara. Tamara, what you got? What you got?
Well, the myth is that being transgender,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of people, whether it's on the political side or on the religious side, or not, think that every transgender person out there is a man, so therefore you can't go to these places. You can't go to the restroom, or you can't. I do accept certain things, like if you were a male, then you cannot participate in women's sports because your genetics are going to
Physically.
be
Hmm.
make you prone to be stronger than them. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to like someone like me that already had transitional surgeries and stuff like that, you can't tell me that I'm a man because I don't function the same way that a man does in a restroom or whatever. So that's one of the myths that they think that, because you were, but you got to look at the certain aspects. If you already had the transition, if you already medically transitioned, then you can't tell me that I can't use the woman's restroom because I don't function the same way in the men's restroom.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work.
I like that. One of my favorite advocates is T.S. Madison. I've been following T.S. Madison, I don't know for how many years now. I love how open she is with herself and her experiences, and how she talks about how every day she learn new stuff. And I think those are one of the myths that people also need to take into consideration, that this life is an experiential journey, and every day we learn.
Hmm.
Every day we learn something new. And so because someone is part of the community, it doesn't mean that they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't expect, because you say, this person is gay, or this person is lesbian, or this person is trans, so they should know this. No,
No.
No,
that person might not know
no.
everything yet. And so
Hmm.
that's one of the myths that I want to clear out there. It doesn't matter how this person identify gender wise, how they what sexual wise, how they identify. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean that they know everything
yeah,
about the community. Yeah.
Right.
yeah. I told one old man one time, in a place I used to work, he thought that because he's older than me, he knows that everything, and I proved him
Mm-hmm.
wrong. You can't say that. There's no such thing as I know it all.
Right.
Your
Yeah,
age
it's
does not determine how much you know.
mm-hmm. It's
I'm
it's Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Telly.
I'm still learning every day different
Mhm.
things. And I'm just like, really? I didn't know that. And people are like, look,
I tell you, the younger
you,
kids, when they be talking about all the things, I said, "What?"
mhm,
You said, "What?"
yes,
They tell you this and this pain and this that and this other and it. I said, "It's okay. I don't need to. I don't think my brain has the capacity
to keep
bring
learning.
to keep on learning that. So it's okay.
Right, right.
I will
That's
stick with what I
basically,
know." And I don't, and like I tell people this all the time. It's like when there's, I'll be in interviews or be on different panels and people ask questions, and I'll be like, I don't know, and they'll be like, but no, I have, I don't participate in conversations that I know I do not know anything about, because I'm not gonna go there and embarrass myself.
yep. That's
Because
right.
not because that I'm in the community means that I know everything about this community. No, I don't. I don't even have some of the experiences.
Mhm.
First thing, I don't even have some experiences. Some of the experiences that I have friends that would have told me, never. I tell people, I never even been to a ball. I wish I just see it on TV. That's my experience. So you can't think that because someone is part of this mean they know everything or they experience everything. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think it's one of those things where I just leave it alone. I be like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know, I've never heard about it. But you're supposed to know. No,
No,
I read it, not supposed to know.
no. If you don't,
You talk to the people who know it.
if you don't open your mind to new experiences and expectations, you are never going to grow past
Whew,
that.
it'd be a lot of
Right.
experience out here. I don't think I'm able to handle all of that.
And I, I'm always open to learn. I love learning. So I'll,
Conversation. Yeah, I think for me is the conversations. Like I love to talk
mhm,
to people. I get to pick people's brains. So what's going on? So tell me
yes.
about this. So they tell me about it. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Hmm.
And I'll be open to answer, but that's not for me. Like I get it, I understand it, but that's really not for me. And I try not to, be too forward because
Hmm.
that's really me. So I be very careful when I'm having this conversation with people. But before we leave, I want to ask both of you if you can give an advice to one young person who's struggling with their identity, what will you say to them?
I would definitely say to them that there are many resources available to help them feel not so alone when they're trying to fit in or when they're trying to figure things out, and figure out who they are and what they like. And then, if some of them, if they're not out, telling their parents and their family members, I would just want to let them know that there are many resources out there, or connect with somebody that you really, really trust, that you can
Mm-hmm.
confide in. Um, because even if you're not out to your family or your job or anything, you're going to have at least that one person you're going to share your truth with. So definitely reconnect with that person and stay prayed up. Stay prayed up.
Excellent.
Uh, I would say to a young person listening right now, if there was some young people listening right now, I would say that I see you. You might feel alone, and this goes to anyone at any age, because there was one thing that I was told. There's so many things I was told when I was considering not coming out, and one of them was, you must be crazy, or you're too old to do this. But when people tell me you're crazy, I say no. I got the paper to prove, because I had to go through psychiatric evaluations, and I had to do a lot to get to where I am to make this decision. And as far as age, no, you are never too old. You might feel alone, but your story is unfolding and it matters. Your truth is not too much. It is not too late. And you do not have to shrink to fit into someone else's comfort zone. I believe that while each of our stories is unique, they resonate with universal truth. The search for acceptance, the journey to find our voice, and the courage it takes to be vulnerable yet unbreakable. If you are still searching for who you are, or if the world is telling you to wait, the right time is now. You do not have to wait. Your time to reclaim your authenticity is today. The world may not be ready for you and will never be ready for you, but you are allowed to live your truth today. I see you. I know your journey. It is filled with unique struggles and triumphs. Your story matters, and just as I captured my experiences through 3 books, surround yourself with the people who celebrate your light, not merely tolerate it and until they do. Be like the firefly that glows in the dark, unapologetically radiant, needing no permission to shine.
And that was powerful. And I want to say thank you to Tamara. I want to say thank you to Telly for being here and just gracing the conversation stage, giving us all this knowledge, giving us access to your story, access to your life. And so I say thank you for those who are watching. I say visibility doesn't mean vulnerability. Living authentically is an act of resistance and resilience. True allyship is proactive, persistent, and personal. Intersectionality must be the center of any inclusive efforts. Safe spaces are not luxurious, they are lifeless. Pride is just not a celebration, it's a call to action. So I want to say thank you so much for being here with us and thank you for honoring the invitation. I hope we do this again. But until then, have a great evening and thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. You have a good evening.
Okay, good night.